At the bottom left of Taldarim Altar in the red colors, we have the Terran player. It is I'm MVP.
Champion of WCG 2011 for Starcraft 2. Several-time GSL champion, as well as MLG champion.
And his opponent at the top right in the blue colors, it's the Zerg player from Team MVP. It is DongRaeGu. Yeah, he looks really tense, and this is some kind of match, I can tell you. We have both players, they played 6 games against each other so far, and each of them was able to take 3 maps. So they are tied. They are tied right now, and the last game ended in the favor of DongRaeGu when he was able to take down MVP at the Arena of Legends with 2-0.
Yeah, that was a pretty exciting match, actually. I remember watching that one. I have to say, MVP here is definitely the favorite. I mean, we are at cross positions. That's really good for DongRaeGu, especially considering his style. He loves to play for the late game. You'll very rarely see DongRaeGu go for an all-in or, you know, put on early pressure with roaches. That's not usually his style. He likes to get that Mutalisk count really high and play for the longer game using Mutalisk, Banelings, and Speedlings. Gonna go hatch first here on this particular map. Pretty good choice.
And MVP, by the way, was able to win against DongRaeGu ages ago at MLG Anaheim. Just to put that into the equation as well. And yep, we have cross position on the map, the hatch first for DongRaeGu. Wolf just mentioned it, and it's basically exactly what you do as a Zerg player. You want to go for that hatch first, and with the scouting information that he has right now, he's already at 18 supply. And now he's just starting his pool. That's a very, very greedy build by DongRaeGu. That's as greedy as you can get. There's no chance that he can get more greedy, like building the pool at 18 after throwing down a hatch first. And he knows that he can get away with it. He scouted his opponent's main base, he knew exactly what was happening, and he knew about the cross position, obviously, as well. So, therefore,
yeah, seeing the cross position is a pretty good indicator that you can get that lead pool, as well as the gas. Seeing the gas means there's no hidden barracks, you know, hidden most likely, so he's not going to have a 2 racks on his hands or use some sort of crazy 3 racks build. He knows, okay, cross positions, you took a gas, you're probably going to do a reactor Hellion expand. I can get my pool later. I don't absolutely need to have those early Zerglings out. I'm going to be fine.
And now the pool finished at roughly the same time as the hatchery, a little bit later. 2 queens immediately started. And DongRaeGu is now droning up, getting a couple of Zerglings in order to get vision on the Xel'Naga watchtowers.
Yeah, I like the Marines on the watchtowers by MVP right now, and he's probably going to take the rest of the watchtowers with his Hellions, and he may even go for the 2 Hellion, 2 Marine push. We've actually seen him do this quite a lot recently, doing it at WCG as well. Bringing some SCVs oftentimes to repair the Hellions, also to possibly start bunkering, just to put on a ton of pressure at the natural. And DongRaeGu right now actually has not started any spine crawlers just yet. He'll probably start some pretty soon. He's continuing to mine gas despite the fact that Zergling speed has started, but only with 1 drone.
Yep, exactly. And droning up right now, spreading his creep already. He knows that he has to defend against Reactor Hellion, so he needs to be a little more careful. He needs to place down spine crawler, which he's doing right now. He has a bunch of Zerglings as well, and that speed should be there in time to deal with the Hellions as soon as the spine crawler is done as well. He's getting a 3rd queen, getting the creep slave. And this is really important. You need to spread your creep, and that's one of the main things why Terran go for those Hellions. Not only to keep the Zerg player in his base, but also trying to prevent the creep spread, killing the tumors. That's really, really important to a Terran player. And DongRaeGu, he might just use that 3rd queen in order to get a creep spread. Nonetheless, there we go, already moving out with one of them.
Yeah, and you know what, guys? MVP is doing the double factory, double reactor Hellion build where you make 4 Hellions at a time. This is almost an all-in, considering that even though you have a command center behind it, if you don't do any damage at all with this push, if your opponent gets a Spire up, then you're stuck where you don't have a large Marine count. You've got very few turrets up, if any at all, so it's a very risky build to do, but it can catch a lot of players off guard.
Exactly, and the one transition that you can make is you can go back into mech. That's one of the things that you are definitely able to do, especially if you get the tech labs in advance at the barracks and then switch the factory over. But now he's going for the large amount of Hellions, and that's a strategy that a lot of Zerg players fell victim to in the past few weeks. So DongRaeGu has to be super, super safe now if he wants to defend against that. And one part of that is he's going for a macro hatch in order to go for the wall in. The macro hatch is part of his wall in. and that's really important. He needs to SimCity now if he wants to prevent those Hellions from streaming into his base.
You know, one thing I'd really like to note as well is that MVP has one Hellion on each watchtower, so that he's denied the scouting of this so long. He's actually just going to send all of his Hellions out at once. Now they've been spotted, but they weren't spotted until the last second. And right now, another spine being made for DongRaeGu. He's got that nice SimCity that you mentioned, but this is going to be pretty tough to deal with.
He needs to block.
Yeah, he needs to block. He needs to be careful because MVP may decide to just barrel through here.
Oh, Transfuse! He doesn't have the energy for the Transfuse, but he's blocking the gap right now. 2 Spine Crawlers are ready. He's going for the second queen. Another queen dies. He's trying to get in there. The Zerglings. Oh, wow. That was close. That one evolution chamber that he threw down in order to block that gap, and now he's able to defend against that push. That is huge. Losing 2 queens in the process, though.
Yeah, losing some queens, losing some creep here as well, but every creep that he kills, he's got a scan to do, and Zerglings actually sneak by the Hellions. This may force MVP to go all the way home with his Hellions to defend.
And MVP is already going for the armory now. He's already going for the armory that will enable him to get Thors if need be.
Very true, and look at this. Hellions already at home to defend because he was rallying so many out, and it looks like these Zerglings will be trapped. Even so, though, it has forced MVP to go home. Damage has been done, though. Like you said, the queens went down, the creep has been reduced. No third base just yet for DongRaeGu.
We have him on 51 drones against 40 SCVs. Now going for the Roachborn. And that's something that he really needs. He knows that his opponent has a lot of Hellions right now, and with this amount of Hellions, you can actually assume that at some point he will get Blue Flame Hellions as well, the upgrade. He's already going for the +1 attack, and now adding additional factories. He's going for that mech play.
Yeah, he's definitely going for mech. And you know, that's another thing that Roaches are quite good against. He's going to want those Roaches against the mech.
Exactly, and there's now the Blue Flame upgrade. So he's going for Blue Flame. He will add Thors as well, and DongRaeGu is transitioning into Roaches and getting the Spire as well. And MVP, I'm sorry to say, but he won't be able to break through this wall in.
No, absolutely not. He is going to delay the third, though.
Yeah.
And if he continues to put pressure on with his Hellions until the Spire is done, or at least until a decent amount of Roaches are out, it's going to be hard for DongRaeGu to take a third. It's going to be hard for him to have any presence on the map. But I have to say, DongRaeGu has really been impressing me with his ability to sneak these Zerglings out and keep MVP near his base, or at the very least, be able to scout what kind of composition he's dealing with.
Nice wall in by MVP at the same time. Those Zerglings won't be able to deal any damage. And DongRaeGu is getting not only the +1 armor upgrade, he is already going for +2 attack, is getting a third base now. And he seems for now to be quite sufficient with sticking to Lings. He's not building any Roaches. He's getting another Roachborn. Did he cancel the first one, or did he actually miss that he already has one?
I believe he actually canceled his first one. Yeah, it looks like he definitely canceled it.
Yeah, he did. First Thors are being built now. Third base for MVP as well. He's going for the Thor Hellion combination, while we have 10 Mutalisks for DongRaeGu in the making.
Yeah, 10 on the way with no Marines up, no turrets just yet. In fact, as far as I can tell, yes, Engineering Bay is just finishing. It's going to be pretty hard to deal with the first wave of Mutalisks.
That's going to be really, really scary, because Mutalisks, if actually microed correctly, deal a lot of damage to Thors when you Magic Box. So if MVP is not getting a lot of Thors now, or missile turrets at the same time, there will be a lot of damage coming in, and all those Zerglings are actually doing a pretty decent job against the Hellions, but in the end, obviously, with Blue Flame and +1 attack already done, they don't stand a chance against that huge number of Hellions for MVP.
Yeah, the Mutas have been spotted. Turrets are going down, and there's one Thor here, but as you mentioned, Magic Box.
And here we go! Going for the Magic Box, immediately starting to repair with the SCVs. Will it be enough, though? It certainly looks like it. At the same time, SCVs are dying as well, and he's trying to prevent those missile turrets. Look at that Thor is not able to kill too many of them, and he's doing such a great job killing those SCVs. The Mutalisks have to be careful, though, and with the missile turret finishing, he is retreating, but in the process he took out 10 workers of his opponent.
Yeah, that's quite significant, but right now these Hellions are going to take out an entire hatchery. And Zerglings coming in, but just a minute too late, and actually he may end up losing the majority of these Zerglings as well, but no, Fuel is coming in.
What a shot! Taking out half of the Zergling army with that last shot as they were trying to cluster up at the mineral. But, well, MVP losing a huge amount of Hellions nonetheless.
Yeah, only killing one drone with that attack, so just killed the hatchery. It's pretty significant, though, because it's a lot of production lost, and with the third base already up for MVP, or he's about to land it right now, he's already got that command center, his economy is about to increase quite significantly.
Both players have lost roughly the same amount of resources, both at roughly 3,500. Plus 2 techno coming up for MVP in terms of his mech army, and he's sticking straight to Thor Hellion right now, getting a planetary at his 3rd base. Very wise decision. A lot of Terran players are a little bit greedy with that, trying to get the 3rd orbital, but MVP now going for the more defensive style, but that one command center is in trouble. He needs to lift that up, but the Mutalisks finish it nonetheless.
Now the Mutalisks do take it out, so I guess a base for a base is what DongRaeGu says. You took out my hatchery, I'll take out your command center. His hatchery has been remade. It's actually about to finish right now. So MVP taking a pretty huge hit, losing that command center. He's actually, I think, going to have to start being a little bit aggressive. He wants to wait until he's maxed or close to max, but I think it might be time for him to move out with his army just a little bit, because if he doesn't, DongRaeGu kind of has control right now. He's going to be able to take multiple hatcheries at once, and MVP might find himself in trouble.
With all those roaches on the map, that's definitely true, and MVP needs to be really, really careful about his next move. He is in a lot of trouble, because right now his Thor count is not high enough. He has like 5 Thors, but there are a lot of roaches, and they have +2 attack. Sorry, they don't have +2 attack. They will have +2 armor very soon. He's getting roach speed and Baneling speed now as well. And these guys are just exchanging punches. DongRaeGu a little bit ahead in terms of his overall supply, 161 against 150.
This push has been spotted by MVP, so he knows what's going on. But will he be able to defend if he attacks from 2 sides? That 3rd command center is very vulnerable right now. This is going to be pretty tough. MVP almost with +2 for his Thors, but not quite yet.
Oh, and by now there are a lot more Thors. 2 more join the army, +2 attack upgrade coming up for the roaches. And DongRaeGu, he's now trying just to make the best out of the situation. He knows that the mech army of his opponent is very, very slow, especially the Thors, and he tries to take a position where he can harass his opponent at different positions, and this is the best that he can do right now. He needs to take that map, he needs to expand again, and I expect that at some point we'll see him go for the Brood Lords as well, but for now he's just sticking to his 3 bases, getting a 4th. And
yeah. I mean, he's been able to put so much pressure on MVP. He's got total control of the map, so he's going to take the 4th base up in the north. And right now, MVP is about to get maxed out. He's got +2 for his vehicles, but +2 missile for the roaches is already on the way. He does have +2 Carapace, so he's going to be at 2-2, much faster than MVP. And again, he's got a better economy. He's in a better position overall.
And he's getting the Infestation Pit right now. That enables him to get that Hive Tech and the Brood Lords in the later stages of the game, but of course also to get the Fungals in order to slow down that push and to trap the Hellions.
And even a Neural Parasite, but hold that thought. He's just going to attack into this army and trade. I'm not sure if this is going to be the best trade for DongRaeGu. He's losing a lot.
I don't think so. That was not a smart idea by DongRaeGu. He lost a lot in this encounter.
Yeah, he lost all of his mutas as well, and that means he has no more mobile force, and the roaches taking so many damage from the splash on these Hellions, he actually is going to lose so much. This really opens up a nice opportunity for MVP to attack.
Exactly, MVP can now just go for it, trying to take down 1 or 2 bases of DongRaeGu, and the Zerg is in trouble. We have him with Banelings now getting +1, finishing +1 for his air units, but he doesn't have any Mutalisks left. That attack was basically suiciding, attacking up that ramp against that area of effect damage, and the Thors in the back as well. I have no idea what DongRaeGu was thinking there.
Yeah, I mean, he tried to stutter step into the units as if he was going to trade efficiently, but, you know, even though he had 2-2 upgrades, the mech upgrades were at +2, and with those Hellions doing splash damage, it just adds up so quickly. Right now, DongRaeGu has a nice flank set up, but I'm not sure if he has enough units on both sides to really deal the damage he wants to destroy this army.
We have 180 supply for DongRaeGu, 174 for his opponent, +3 attack for the Terrans. Mech army is now being researched as well. And with a 4th base up, DRG is going for a 5th while attacking to Hive. But that last attack sure gave MVP some kind of momentum that he tries to carry onto the Zerg players half of the map now.
Well, it looks like he's going to try to make a better attack happen here right now. And MVP forced to pull SCVs to slow this push down, and actually is going to turn his entire force around to try to trap these roaches. I'm not sure if I agree with this. Hive is on the way right now as well, and you know, +3 weapons is a little bit a ways away for MVP, but no more upgrades being researched right now for DongRaeGu. He needs that Hive Tech.
I really like... Oh, there's another roach encounter trying to get in. Will he be able to take out that Thor? Oh, he should focus at least the Thor, but he's focusing the tanks instead. Nice, taking down 2 of them. Will he be able to take out the 3rd? Yes, certainly looks like it. Losing the roaches though, but in the back there's another army of roaches focusing the Thors right now, taking down 1 of them.
but he needs to retreat again. This is just too much. The army of MVP is too huge, and I love the decision of MVP to take SCVs with him for the repair.
Yeah,
this is so smart.
MVP realizes he's in the position where he actually has to kill a base right now. If he doesn't kill a base right now, he's going to lose this game. That was a really scary situation. I like the usage of Bane lanes coming out for DongRaeGu, knowing that SCVs are in the mix, and you knew that SCVs would be pulled as well.
There's another attack. Hold that thought. We have attack in the main base of MVP, and DongRaeGu with those roaches taking out the tanks, and this is it. He's finally able to break through and will be able to deal a lot of damage to the expansion of MVP. But the Terran player is now going for an attack himself, and Roach is streaming in from everywhere, taking out tanks, Thors, and Hellions alike. He might be able to crush that. This is going to be a close call, but all those Thors are dying. DongRaeGu, 150 supply against 65 for MVP. MVP is in ropes. This doesn't look good. DongRaeGu is really pulling that one off.
GG. MVP got a little bit outclassed there. DongRaeGu all over the map, just able to control it, keep putting pressure on trading, similar to how we saw Stefano actually do against Hero last game in a different scenario, but he was able to kill that command center. Then he never let MVP move his entire army out. He always had something to turn MVP around.
That was so well done. Well, except for that one push that we've been talking about, that was a little bit of a... Well, I don't know. He just attacked into the choke point with all the Hellions on top, the area effect damage, even though it's Hellions against Roaches. At some point, it just accumulates. He had the +2 attack upgrade already, had Blue Flame, and in the back there were the Thors. So he lost a lot of his army, and I was really worried for him for a while, but he was able to pull back.
I feel like MVP kind of missed his timing a little bit after that. He could have committed a little bit more, pulled some more SCVs to do that attack, but he just didn't. And after that, you know, he's like, well, I killed some of your units, and you're not attacking me, and now I can actually just remax and do it again and again and again.
And at some point, DongRaeGu always trying to go for 2 attacks. He always had a small force of roaches that he tried to sneak into the third, into the main base, and it never really worked out. He was able to kill a couple of tanks, but that was all there was to it, and he lost all the roaches. But in the end, when MVP finally said, okay, I have to move out now, you mentioned it in the game, he has to do something right now in order to get that momentum going for him. And DongRaeGu, he didn't just attack that army, he went with a small number of roaches into the natural, was able to break the supply wall in, and then suddenly he was in there, could kill everything.
Yeah.
That was one of the deciding moments.
And he, you know, with those roaches, he was able to not only cut off reinforcements and attack the front and pull MVP back, but also had the ability to flank. He always had that flank opportunity, so that really scared MVP. He was really nervous about moving all of his forces even more forward because he's like, I know there's more roaches out there. You know, if he flanks me, my Thors aren't really going to be able to fight the way they need to. He's going to have a better concave. He's going to surround me. So it was a really tough spot. But we are going to take a quick little break, guys. Don't go anywhere. When we get back, we have a lot more matches for you.